Parsha Chukas, shevii. Vayishlach Yisrael malachim el Sichon melech ha'Emori le'mar. Israel sent emissaries to Sichon, king of the Amorites, saying. But elsewhere, Scripture hangs the delegation on Moshe, attributes sending messages to Moshe. As it says, I sent messages from the wilderness of Kedemoth, and similarly we find another contradiction of this sort. One verse says Moshe sent emissaries from Kadesh to the king of Edom, but in a passage about Yeftah, it says about the same incident, Israel sent emissaries to the king of Edom, etc. These verses need one another to put each other into proper perspective. One locks and the other opens. It teaches us that Moshe is Israel and Israel is Moshe, to tell you that a generation's leader is like the entire generation, for the leader is everything. Tanchuma 23. Generation's leader is like the entire generation, for the leader is everything. Hu hakol. Ki hanasi hu hakol. The generation's leader is the entire generation, for everything is done by the word of the leader. Ki hanasi hu hakol. The leader is everything. Nasi hu hakol. Leader is everything. Ebra va'artzecha loy nite besade uvcherem loy nishte mei ve'er bederech hamelech neilech ad asher na'avor gevulecha. Let me pass through your land. We shall not turn off to field or vineyard. We shall not drink the water of a well. On the king's road shall we travel until we pass through your border. The same thing. They were not commanded to open toward them with peace, to make overtures peace towards them. They sought peace from them. Same thing from before. They're offering to the Amorites, just like they did to Edom. And so what did Sichon of the Amorite, king of the Amorite, respond? He said, V'loi nasan Sichon es Yisrael avar bigvulai. Avar bigvulai. Vayesof Sichon es kol amay vayetze likras Yisrael hamidbara vayavay yatsa vayi lachem b'Yisrael. But Sichon did not permit Israel to pass through his border, and Sichon assembled his entire people and went out against Israel to the wilderness. He arrived at Yahaz and waged war against Israel. Sichon, because of all the kings of Canaan, would pay tribute to him, for he would guard them, so that invading armies should not pass through them, their lands. Once Israel said to him, let me pass through your land. He said to them, there is no other reason for me to be dwelling here, but to guard them against you. And you say this? Had Heshbon been full of gnats, no creature would have been able to conquer it, for it was so strongly fortified. And if Sichon had been in a weak village, nobody would have been able to conquer him, for he was a mighty warrior. Much more so, it would be impossible to defeat him now that he is in Heshbon. Right? It's a strong place. But Hashem said, Mani matriach al banai kolzos. Why should I trouble my children so much to make them lay siege against each town? I put the idea in their heart of all of the men of war to go forth from their towns to do battle with Israel in the open fields. They all gathered in one place, and there they fell. And from there Israel went to the towns, and there was no one standing against them. There was none there but women and children. Right? The women and children of Heshbon did not even bar the gates of the city, because they were confident the men would be victorious in battle. As Rashi says, there was no one standing against them. Yeah. Vayakehu Yisrael lefi charev vayirash es artzai me'arnon ad yaboik ad b'nei amoik. Ad b'nei Ammon ki az gvul b'nei Ammon. Israel smote him with the edge of the sword, took possession of his land from Aranon to Yabok, to the children of Ammon, for the border of the children of Ammon was strong. In what lay its strength? In the warning of the Holy One, blessed be He, said, Israel, you shall not approach opposite the children of Ammon, that you shall not distress them. 25. V'ikach Yisrael eskol Arim ha'ile vayeshev Yisrael v'chol arei ha'emori v'cheshbon v'chol b'sinah. Israel took all these cities, and Israel settled in all the Amorite cities in Heshbon and all its suburbs, and the villages would adjoin it. 26. Ki Heshbon ir Sichon melech ha'emori hi v'hu nilcham v'melech Moav harishon v'yikach es kol artzai miyadai ad Arnon. For Heshbon is in it. Cheshbon. It is the city of Sichon, king of the Amorite, and he had warred against the first king of Moab and took all his land from his control until Arnon. He had warred, etc. But why did this need to be written? Because it says, do not distress Moab, and Cheshbon had belonged to Moab, because Scripture writes for us, and Sichon took it from them, and through him it became pure for Israel. It became permissible for Israel to take possession of it from his control, literally hand. This means from his domain. Ad kain ayomru moishlim bo Cheshbon ti baneh v'sikonen ir Sichon. About this, the poets would say, come to Cheshbon, let it be built, and establish the town of Sichon. Al ken yomru hamoishlim bo Cheshbon ti baneh v'sikonen ir Sichon. About this poets would come. 28. Ki esh yatsa mecheshbon lehava mikiryas Sichon achla ar Moav ba'alei b'mos Arnon. For a flame has gone forth from Cheshbon, a flame from the city of Sichon. It has consumed Ar of Moab, the masters of Arnon's heights. About the war which Sichon waged against Moab, the poets would say Bilam, of whom it says he declaimed his parable. The poets Bilam and his father Beor, they said, come to Cheshbon. Sichon was unable to conquer it from the Moabites, so he went and hired Bilam to curse it. This is what is meant by Balak said to Bilam, for I know that whomever you bless is blessed, whom you curse, let it be built and established, let Cheshbon be built and established in the name of Sichon, for it to be a city. Fire has gone forth from Cheshbon once Sichon has conquered it. And the name of that area is called Ar in the Hebrew language and Lechayath in the Aramaic language. This is, in the construct form, means Ar of Moab. Kaftet Olachamov Avadata Am Kamosh Nasan Banov Paleitim Uvnosav Bashvis Lamelech Emori Sichon. Woe to you, Moab, you are lost, people of Chemosh. He delivered his sons as fugitives and his daughters into captivity to the king of the Amorites, Sichon. Woe to you, Moab, Bilam and Beor cursed Moab, that they should be given over into the hand of Sichon. Chemosh, this is the name of the deity of Moab. He delivered, that is, he who delivered the sons of Moab to be Paleitim, which means those who flee and seek refuge from the sword, and his daughters into captivity, etc., etc. Vaniram avad Cheshbon ad Divon, vanashim ad Nofach, asher ad Meidva. The sovereignty was lost from Cheshbon, it was removed from Divon, and we laid waste until Nofach, which reaches up to Medeba. This means their sovereignty was lost. It was lost from Cheshbon, who was removed from Dibon. The sovereignty and yoke which Moab had in Cheshbon was lost from there, and we are to understand similarly. That is to say, the sovereignty of Moab was removed from Dibon. The word denotes sovereignty and the yoke of man's rulership, so that there should be sovereignty for my servant David. And we laid waste. The letter Shin is marked with a dagesh. It denotes desolation. Thus shall the poet say, which means we laid waste to them until Nofa. Israel settled in the land of the Amorite. Israel settled in the land of the Amorite. Vayishlach Moshe leragel es Yazer vayilkadu b'noisea vayoresh es haimori asher sham. Moshe sent to spy out Jazer, and they captured its suburbs, and he drove away the Amorite that was there. The spies captured, they said, we will not act like the first spies. We are confident in the power of the prayer of Moshe to do battle. Vayifnu vaya'alu derech Bashan. They say, Og melech Bashan likrasam hu v'chalamo lemilchama edrei. They turned and ascended by way of Bashan. Og, king of Bashan, went out against him, he and his entire people, to do battle at Edrei. 34. ויאמר אדוני אל משה אל תירא אותו כי בידך נשאתי אותו ואת כל עמו ואת ארצו ועשית לו כאשר עשית לסיחון מלך אמוריה אשר יושב בחשבון. Hashem said to Moshe, do not fear him, for into your hand have I given him his entire people and his land. You shall do to them as you did to Sichon king of Amorite who dwells in Heshbon. Moshe was afraid to wage war lest the merit of Abraham stand on Og's behalf. Okay, and it says in the fugitive came, this is Og, who escaped from Rephaim, where whom Karala Emer and his colleagues struck at Ashtras Karnaim. It says, only Og, king of Bashan, was left from the remaining Rephaim. Do not be afraid. Right, that Moshe needed reassurance before doing battle with Og, but not before doing battle with Sichon, because it had a merit of doing a chesed. The Og did a chesed for Abraham. He told him that his nephew Lot had been captured. He had bad kavana, but even so, Moshe was afraid of this merit of helping Abraham. It was a huge merit to do a chesed, massive merit. Any chesed you do is big, even for the wrong reasons. 35. Vayaku oisai. V'es banav es kol amoy ad bilti hishir loy sarid vayirshu es artzai. They smote him, his sons and all his people, until there was no survivor left of him, and they took possession of his land. They smote him. Moshe smote him. There was something unique about the way Og died. Gemara continues that he intended. Okay. In Brachos, chapter Rei, Og uprooted a mountain 3 parasangs long, the length of the Israelite camp, etc. He intended to drop it on the Israelites and kill them. He raised it over his head. The Holy One blessed. He brought ants, made a hole in the rock, and he rested upon Og's neck with his head through the hole. Moshe was 10 amos tall. He took an axe 10 amos long. Moshe was 10 amos tall. He took an axe 10 amos long, jumped 10 amos, and struck Og on the ankle and killed him. And that's what happened there. Vayisu b'nei Yisrael vayachanu ba'arvois Moav me'aver leyarden Yerechai. The children of Israel journeyed and encamped in the plains of Moab opposite the Jordan near Jericho. That was shevii. It's the end of the Parsha.